Hi everyone. Welcome to Belong Conversations, where real people share real stories of belonging. My name is Irina Mushuk. I'm a leadership coach and corporate trainer specialized on storytelling, communication, leadership, and career advancement. Every episode, I will have a guest who has redesigned his or her life here in the Netherlands and has learned something meaningful and deep along the way about themselves. And my very, very first guest today, and I'm super proud to have him with me for the very first episode of this podcast, is my dear friend and an amazing person, so I'll introduce him. His name is Sabyasachi Sengupta. He comes originally from India. He is an expert in behavioral change, founder of Method in Madness, and current champion, world champion of public speaking 2025. So, Saby, so happy you made the time to come here. So happy to see you here.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Irina. It's my honor to be here. Thank you for inviting me. Congratulations on starting your podcast. I love the theme that you've selected. I think it resonates with so many people. So I'm really looking forward to this interview and many more episodes.
Thank you. I will start with the first question.
Please.
Actually. So can you shortly tell your story of coming to the Netherlands? Why Netherlands? How you ended up here?
You know, I can make it sound like the most planned decision of my life, but the truth is it's not. I remember in 2009, I went to Singapore for work. I was there for like around 2-3 months. And I was completely in awe of Singapore. I was like, I loved it. I was just like, working and also going out. I was like, I remember 22nd August 2009, I landed in India from Singapore. And at the airport, I was telling myself, within a year, I'm going to leave. I'm going to, go to a new country, explore, because there's so much to see, learn. And it so happened that I was still working, but I also was looking for an opportunity to do my master's degree. So I applied for some universities in UK, in the Netherlands. Luckily, my brother at that time was living in the Netherlands. And also I got a full scholarship from University of Amsterdam, which was kind of like the right push that I needed. And it was just like pretty... It was not like when I started the year 2010, like January, I had no idea. Like in Netherlands, I was not even thinking. But it all happened so fast. Within March, April, the plan started, and in August, 22nd of August 2010, exactly 1 year from that day, I was at Mumbai airport with bags ready to fly for a new life.
Wow. Power of visualizing.
100%.
And goal setting.
100%.
So you landed
to
the land of tulips, windmills, cheese, and bicycles. As someone who comes originally from completely different culture, what has shocked you in the Dutch culture and Dutch mentality, and what has pleasantly surprised you? Something you really didn't expect and you loved it.
So I think, when you move to the Netherlands, even at the introduction sessions you have at the university, they make a lot of fun of Dutch habits, Dutch idiosyncrasies, like the agenda, how they can be a bit standoffish. It's very hard to make local friends here, and they are also true in some ways. But I think let me start with what pleasantly surprised me is that if you give time and you approach people on a individual basis, you make great friends. I mean, even with the most Dutch person, you end up becoming friends, and once you're friends, you're really in the inner circle. They become your best friends and lifelong friends. I think that's what I think pleasantly surprised me. The other thing was, I think like the smallest thing, right? The language of love, for example. Where I come from, food is the biggest language of love. So if I love you, I will be like, please come home for dinner. Let me cook something for you. And that's what I did for the people I was studying or I'm knowing in the Netherlands at the first months. but they have a different language of love. Like imagine you invite someone home for dinner, you cook them a nice 4-course meal. At the end of the dinner, what do you expect? They're going to say, next time, my place. Instead, you hear, you know what, Sunday I'm going for a run. Do you want to join me? Let's do a 5K together. And you're like, wow, that is so rude. I just cooked so much. I've been cooking since morning, and you just want to invite me to go for a run with you or play squash with you. But that is the language of love here, that they're making you part of their activity. Let's go for a run together. Let's go like swim together. So it was something, a quiet taste, that food is not a language of love here. And that is something I was very tough for me to understand. Like that, why would someone not invite you? Why would not someone, even if you go to their place, you see that they haven't put too much effort. Like, you know, like I come from a culture where you'll think what allergy this person has, what they like, and you make and prep. There is not that kind of thought, and you know, it's a more functional element of the society. That's what I felt, or maybe I met the wrong kind of people, but that doesn't mean anything about the love that they have for you. I think that's something that took me a little time to understand. And definitely shocking was, of course, like I come from a culture where if you study with people in the same class, you're instantly friends. They're your friends, they're best friends, you hang out together. But here with some of the people, I did courses and studies for months, and then they will be like, oh, I need to go home early, it's my birthday, I'm having a big birthday party, all my friends are coming. And you're like, I'm not invited? Wow. I'm not invited, but it's very clear you're not my friend. You're a colleague. Like who calls people at university
Classmate.
colleagues?
Yeah.
I mean, we call friends everybody. So here the word friend means something. If you call someone a friend, it means it's not just a tag you put on a random person. So that's something it took me also time to understand. And yeah, the whole agenda thing, like 3 weeks from now I can have a coffee with you, mean the usual things that you hear about the Netherlands.
It doesn't shock everyone, to be honest.
It did shock me a little bit. Like, you have to understand, this is 2010. This is before we had smartphones, before we had Google Calendar. So I wasn't carrying a diary where I will write it down, you know. So with Google Calendars and everything, it became easy to sync calendars and everything. But this is a very transitional period where I refused to carry those small diaries where I'll open the agenda and see. And I didn't have internet to, you know, fill the calendar. So I was caught up in that. But once you start working, that gets into the habit. I mean, what I realized, if you want to, for anybody who was in the job market, they relied on their Outlook calendar for anything. They will also put their private appointments there. Yeah. Something that I would never do or done in my previous jobs. So yeah, that's definitely something, the love for a calendar. That's something that I still find it amusing. However, I'm definitely part of that ecosystem, so I maintain that myself.
And have you adopted something absolutely Dutch that became yours?
A lot of things. I think we both have that. We're pretty direct. Like if you see someone who's like beating around the bush, who cannot make a decision, it's like the most annoying thing for us. Like, come on, make up a decision, how hard it is. Or just say what you want. Don't go left and right, and like, don't try to be so accommodating. Just say what you want. It's much easier to make a decision. Like the smallest thing, right? Like when I'm in India, I go out with my friends to a restaurant, and I'm like, guys, what should we order? Like anything. Like the word anything, that's not on the menu. There is no food item called anything. You have to be specific what you want. Because here it's very clear. People are like, either they'll be like, hey, you decide today, you know this place, or I want this, I want this. So it's perfect. But here, like when somebody just tells you anything, that doesn't leave you with a lot of options.
That's true. I can tell you that you became much more Dutch.
Yeah, in what ways? Tell me.
In many ways. It's also not easy to make an appointment with you.
A little bit, but
okay, it was just a small,
no worries.
Small joke. Definitely, as anyone who moves to a new country, you went through some low, difficult moments where you had to overcome something really serious in your life. How can you remember one or two moments of that kind, and what or who helped you to overcome it?
I
in
think
that
there were
period?
several. I think there were several. But on top of my head, the toughest was, I think, 2013, when I was in between jobs. And the problem with the non-EU passport was that if you're not employed, you have to go back to your home country, which is not something I wanted to do. But it's also, I had only worked for like a little more than a year at ABN AMRO Bank, and I stayed in the Netherlands now little more than 3 years, little less than 3 years. So I did not know enough people. I did not know enough opportunities. Job meant all the jobmonster.com that was there back then, looking for job opportunities, applying them, and most of them you get an automated response. It was a very lonely period because you just keep refreshing your email hoping that something will come up, and at the same time you're sitting at home doesn't help. What really helped was I got recalled by my employer for another department, but neighboring department, because of the relationships I built there. So while I was still working in the bank for that year and a half, I made good connection. I did good work. And also I'm a social person, so people know me beyond the work, they know the person. So when there was an opportunity, they were immediately able to connect me with the job. So to give you a number, I went for 30 odd interviews and I got rejected all the places, This is between February and March. And March middle, I get a message on LinkedIn from my former manager saying, hey, there is a temporary job, do you want to do it? I'm like, sure, like come right now. So I go to the office. I meet this new manager who's going to interview me, who's asking me questions, and imagine like I was like a caveman sitting at home with beard and all looking shabby. Suddenly you have to shave, and back then shaving was common. Put up a suit and run to Zaud. As I was talking to him, his boss, like the head of treasury, walked into the room and he sat there and he said, oh, you are Saby. Yeah, I know you. I've seen you in the coffee corners, in the lift and everything. And he stood there for 5 minutes. He heard me speak a little bit and he said, okay, I'm done. I made up my mind. And he gives a thumbs up and he walks away. And my manager was like, yeah, that's a positive sign, you're in. Mm-hmm. I was like, after 30 rejection, I get a job in 15 minutes. That's what just happened here. So yeah, it was really a lifeline for me. But what was most remarkable is the relationships and the connections I built there, even in a year time. And I'm still have good relation with all of them. If I see them in Amsterdam, some I'm more in touch than the others. But it's still such a beautiful feeling, and I believe in the power of building that connection. And this is not just that. I mean, there are many moments when I felt extremely low, like our common friend Tamash can tell you a moment when I felt like I lost a speaking contest and I felt so low I didn't want to speak to anybody for days. And he came over and he said, okay, what can I do that will make you smile? And I took him with me to watch Kung Fu Panda 2, watch cartoon with me to make me smile. Poor guy went through that torture. Like, having that kind of friends, that kind of connection always helped me weather difficult period. And adult life is filled with such difficulties and rejections, heartbreaks, moments of doubts. It's filled with that, and it can get lonely in the Netherlands. Having good connection, and not just friends, good people that you can talk to, whether it's your neighbor, colleague, acquaintance, not just friends, was the thing that saved me time and again.
Listening to you, I think you are talking about community.
100%.
So like it's a sense of community which you start building when you move, but not everyone, by the way, is so capable of rebuilding their network or their community. When I look at you, I see you as a person who is very good at connections, at connecting to people, at creating your network. It seems like you know half of the people in the Netherlands, half of the people in whole Europe, and probably also in Asia. Like, it seems like you are really out there, especially now when you are world champion of public speaking. But is a network of people, especially a professional network, is a community?
Yeah.
Is this
You know,
what actually gives you a
I'll
sense
tell
of
you something
community?
very honestly. I am an extrovert. I like to talk. I get energy being around people. But it's not guaranteed if you're an extrovert, you will build community. Let's take Toastmasters, something we know through. We're part of a Toastmasters Club Fusion, and we are both members for over 10 years. We have seen hundreds of people come and go. And like, you know, whoever is there, I have a good relation with all of them, most of them. 80% of members, I have good relation with them. You even jokingly once made a joke about it that more than half is Saby's friends. But it's not. The World Championship happened recently, but I can tell you, and I'm saying this without sounding cocky, there isn't a member who I haven't helped in their speech or in their journey. When we build community, we are only thinking about what can I get from this person. If you're not willing to give, if you're not willing to help, without the intention of, you know, that, I'm doing this because you will owe me something, I'm doing you a favor so you will do me a favor. Of course, that every relationship is transactional in nature, but it's sometimes you do it just to get pure joy out of it, just to build a friendship out of it, not because I want something from you immediately. If you're not willing to give, you'll never make a good community. And I say this from the heart. I really take time whenever someone from the club and community have reached out, because I want to build a relationship with them. I want to be part of their journey and have that rapport. Some, of course, you don't, but some you end up becoming friends for life. And being extrovert is not a solution to, because a lot of introverts think, I am not comfortable, how will I make community? And some extroverts think, yeah, but I'm so funny, I'm so, like, you know, charming, I'll charm people in. But the secret to community is that you need to have the heart to give. Only when you have a heart to give, you have the right to deserve.
I totally believe that giving comes first.
100%.
And I also think it's our need, natural need. Sometimes we are blind to that need, but actually giving without expecting anything in return is our nature, human nature. And when we are not doing that, we are just going against the nature, and sometimes we are lost because of that. And listening to you, you are a giver, definitely.
Thank you.
You are definitely a giver. So what would be maybe it's your recipe. I don't believe in recipes, but like what people can take from your experience to build a community around them. First thing is giving, being out there. Anything else?
I mean, you know, your vibe attracts your tribe. What you talk about, if you're someone who only talks about world politics, then you will always surround yourself with that kind of people. I recently had this, I was at an event, and a friend of mine was observing me from the corner and said, you know, one thing I see about you, Saby, and there was another speaker as well, like wherever the speaker is, it's like a round table, people are listening, it's like profound. Wherever you are, there's jokes and laughs, and there's like people making fun of each other, there's leg pulling, because that's the kind of person I am. I'm not so serious all the time, most of the time, you know that. I like to make people laugh, and that's the kind of people I attract. That's the kind of friendship I build. If someone's too serious, it's not my cup of tea, I'll be honest, and I'm definitely not their cup of tea. But I think your vibe attracts your tribe. I mean, if you want to have that kind of childlike energy, childlike friendship with people that you can make jokes and laugh. But when you meet them, you talk about real estate and where to invest and what kind of, you know, then you're not going to find, they might not enjoy that conversation on a Saturday evening, you know. So your vibe attracts your tribe. So also you have, like, I'll tell you a story. This is, when I worked at ABN in a department, we used to go for lunch together. Now the discussion on that lunch table was Game of Thrones. Only and only Game of Thrones. It was season 6 going on. Everybody would only talk about Game of Thrones because every day a new episode, every week a new episode was coming out. It was the most conversation people were passionate about, more than the work perhaps at that point. I actually started watching because I didn't want to be left out. So sometimes you also have to be willing to learn something new, learn a little bit about people's culture, learn about, I'm not saying Game of Thrones is anybody's culture, but when there's a Sinterklaas, for example, or a festival that is dear to some culture, learn a little bit about it, take interest in knowing that, show curiosity, you know, and at times, you know, be trendy. What's in the trend to have conversation with people that you like.
Listening to you, I got the recipe. First is giving. Second, be authentic.
Yeah.
When you're authentic, when you are who you are, you attract like-minded people.
100%.
Third, be curious
Mm-hmm.
about the culture you live in or any other culture, and be open. Yeah?
And follow the trend. I would say trend has
Follow the trend.
I mean, you know,
TikTok trends.
little bit like it is a thing.
It
like,
depends
you know,
on the
I'll tell you.
people.
I tell you, my biggest time when in Netherlands I felt very sad is that ice bucket challenge was going on, and everybody was challenging their friends to put the ice bucket on them. I was just hoping, please someone challenge me. And none of my friends challenged me. I mean, they were not also like my
Maybe
friends
they
were not.
also were not part of that challenge.
Exactly. I was like, I need friends who will actually challenge me. I mean, you know I like to be on that. Like when something trendy is happening, to be part of that ecosystem.
The only solution, Saby, for you was to initiate the challenge yourself and
I
challenge
know,
others.
but this was like 10, 15 years ago. I was a bit too shy. Today I would do it.
Yeah, definitely. Don't wait for the
No, we can
trends.
start it right here. Shall we get a bucket and ice, Irina? Let's do it together
let's
here.
think of a better challenge.
Okay.
Age appropriate.
Damn it.
I was also, while you were talking, I was also thinking, you are traveling a lot.
Yeah.
You live mostly in Netherlands the
Yes.
last 16 years.
Yes, correct.
But you are traveling all the time. I see you going to Singapore, to Sri Lanka, to Dubai, to so many countries. Where you feel mostly that you belong, and does it have anything to do with the place?
No, actually, I think a place where you have friends that make you feel home, that's where you feel home. Like, oddly enough, I felt very home in Australia, in Melbourne. I have a really close friend who lives there. I stayed with them. Like, I've not seen this friend for over 10 years. We were very close. We still are close. And I was like, okay, I'll stay with you. He's married, has a kid. It felt like family. It felt like family. Like, last day, I can tell you, we were like up till 3 a.m. I had to get up and leave at 6, but we just don't want to sleep. The three of us, my friend Sushil and his wife Supriya, because we were like, we just don't want to miss this moment when we don't see each other. Like, Australia is really far. But I felt home in Melbourne very much. Home for me is a place where you have friends who make you feel home. I think that's when I started feeling home in Netherlands. That's what I felt in Mumbai when I moved to Mumbai at the age of 18. I felt that in Melbourne. I was obsessed with Australia when I came back. I was like, oh my God, I love Australia, and I really do love Australia. So it is really a place where you find the like-minded people.
It's a feeling, not a place.
It's the feeling, 100%,
Yes.
100%.
Cool. Welcome back. We continue our Belong conversation with Saby. And I have here a very pretty mug. It's a gift from our speaker. And please stay tuned till the end of this episode. We are going to share with you what are the conditions to get this gift directly from the World Champion of Public Speaking 2025. Saby, I have a little bit, I have looked at your LinkedIn profile. I have studied it, to be honest. And I have realized that you worked for ABN AMRO for 15 years.
Yes.
That long. So you are a banker with so much experience in banking. You started as a product controller, which was like a junior position, and you ended up being entrepreneur in innovation.
Yes.
At Innovation.
Yes.
15 years.
Yes.
And I also know that just last year, maybe half a year ago even, you decided to quit your corporate job.
That's correct.
And boldly, courageously jump into entrepreneurship. not entrepreneurship, but entrepreneurship. So you have now your own business.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more why you took this decision and how this journey has been for you so far?
I always told this story about Mowgli from Jungle Book. You know how Mowgli always ran with the wolves, and he thought he's weaker. The wolves would always outrun him, and Mowgli will think he's weak, he's the weakest, and everybody thought he's the weakest and he need protection. Only when Mowgli realized that he's actually not a wolf, he's a human, and he has other qualities like meeting the elephants and finding ways that the wolf could not, he was able to beat his nemesis. I have always felt like that Mowgli. I have worked in a pretty competitive environment, but truth being told, I love the place, I love the colleague. I also like the work, especially at the beginning of my career. But there was always a disconnect. There is always that little urge in me that I want to do something different, something where I can be really good. But then, when you are in that dichotomy and when you are also not sure where and what, and you're really every day trying to be Mowgli, run with the wolves so that you can one day win and show everybody that you're good. Even when people gave me advice, feedback, like, hey, are you sure banking is for you? You are a bit of a showman. Like, we see you on stage, like performing. Like, it's a true story. My head of finance did call me, you should be the chief entertainment officer, something I mentioned in the speech. Even those comments back in the day felt like a backhanded compliment that, oh, you're really telling me I'm not good enough for a banking job? Which today I look back at it thinking, yeah, maybe there was merit to those comments, because I would have never be great at that. I mean, this is not where I would excel. So at some point, I think 2023, I had sometimes you need a breakdown for a breakthrough. I had a bit of a personal breakdown, and that also got me a lot of clarity of what I want to do next. So I'm very grateful to my employer for giving me a 2-year leeway where it's called a career switch, where you convert your permanent contract into 2-year and you work half time, and remaining time you use that time to build something of your own. Now that's a riskless way of taking risk, because you still get more than half of your income, and yet you get time, energy, attention to build something of your own. And once you sign that, you also mentally, emotionally checked out of that organization also, especially towards the last half of the year. Now 2020, initially I thought, you know what, in 6 months I will leave and be entrepreneur. But as sales is like, it doesn't matter, you're a great speaker or a great cook, whatever you are, in the end you need to be able to sell. And sales is not easy. It's tough, like, you have to learn a lot of new things. Like, I can speak well, but not necessarily listen so well. So I had to learn a lot of things. That 2 year was that transition to learn, understand market, understand how to, who's the decision maker, all these things. But last year, in June, I was almost in an existential crisis. I'm just 3 months away from my contract ending, end of September. Big client cancelled. The market hasn't been the best. I'm really up for the grab. What will I do? Even when I signed that contract, and I want to mention this, my very good friend Jeroen Ulan told me something. I remember calling him. He's a great guy. He's coached me several times. I had asked him, like, do you think I'm doing the right thing by taking this plunge? And he said, I don't know if you will be successful in building your company or building Method in Madness, but I know that even if you're not, you have it in you to stand back on your feet in no time. And that was a big confidence, that really helped me. And that sentence still stays with me in moments of doubts and when things get cancelled and everything. So yeah, June was really bad last year. But then July, I got to go. I was told I'm going to the World Championship. August, I actually went there, won it, and life just took a major upswing. And if there is anything if there is anything worth taking from my journey, I don't think I'm out of the ordinary. I think I'm a very average guy who shows up, who tries, and when he tries, he puts 100%. That's all.
Wow. I don't think you are an average guy. By the way, I totally believe that we have to follow our natural strengths. And for you, training others, being on stage is a natural strength. And you can shine there,
Thank
but
you.
you can be very mediocre in things that are not naturally your strengths. And
But you know, when
can
you're
still
trying to
do a
prove
good job.
yourself so hard in things where you feel you're mediocre, and somebody tells, but do you really want to do that? Like, I have had conversations where I've really got a good work, I've got a good rating, end of the year rating, and I'm getting praises. But in those praises, there would always be that line, but are you sure this is your job? Are you sure this is what you want to do for the rest of your life? Are you sure this is who you are? And that question, instead of making me think, made me resentful, in fact. Like, how dare you question my ability? How dare you tell me that I'm not good enough? Are you really telling me that I don't belong here? But that's the thing. When you're not living your full potential, when you do not respect your own skills, when you do not respect yourself, you look for signs in the universe that tells you you're not good enough. And those same words that I replayed today in my head, I was like, I should have listened to them sooner.
You are not ready for that, most probably.
Could be.
So I'm listening to you. You are really good at visualizing things. Like, you wanted in 1 year to be in a different place, and it happened for you. You made a plan that in 2 years you will start your business, and everything happened in a way that
yes.
actually now, would you be able to have your corporate job and travel
No.
and give keynote speeches?
No,
And
impossible.
yeah, so there is also power of goal setting, of understanding what would be your next steps, and it's never just a coincidence, because you set intention and you know where you're going.
And I tell you, Irina, honestly, I think in terms of pure talent and skills, I'm very average. Honestly speaking, I'm really
in banking.
No, even in public speaking. I think the only thing is I have perseverance. I show up. I still like, you know, we had this conversation last week when I gave a speech at the club, and you're like, even after World Championship, why are you doing it? I said, because I want to still learn, because if I don't do this, I will fall. You know, my learning curve will go down. I'm just someone who shows up for every contest, who showed up for every opportunity to be on stage. I have been rejected so many times. I've been pushed away. I've been refused. But I still applied. I still showed up. I still, you know, even today, if somebody asks me to be on a stage or do something, I will do it, irrespective of the title, just because of the sheer love for stage. And also, it gives me chance to try new content, try new style that I would have otherwise not done. It's really perseverance. I'm a very average skilled person, and honestly, in our club, let alone Toastmasters and the world, there are people who I look at, I'm like, I wish I can speak like them. They're so naturally talented and gifted. And I'm not doing fake modesty. Honestly, they are really good. I learn from them. That's why I still come to the club. But I show up more often.
Wow. Just accept the fact that I consider you a very talented storyteller.
Thank you.
Naturally talented.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, also on your LinkedIn profile, you mentioned something interesting in your About section. I'll just quote, that you are specialized in the human side of transformation. Can you elaborate on that? Sounds very intriguing.
So I worked a lot with change in my career. Sometimes change of system, change of processes. And one thing I've seen a lot of pushback, resistance to change. I even gave a TEDx talk on it where I say resistance to change is not a disease, it's a symptom, because there is underlining things. You need to go one layer deeper. Instead of going one layer deeper, organizations are just pushing things. I have, through Method in Madness, what I want to make a change in the world is not make change an enemy, but a friend, where people understand that it is actually helping them, not hurting them. But it is not and I want to do it differently, without those PowerPoint, those glam-dolled PowerPoint that means nothing, those big journals and documents that if you read, it really, like, it's just puffed up words. It means nothing. It's fluffy. Simple words that everybody can understand, connect, and believe in. That kind of vision and change process I want to build, which takes people's perspective. So, for example, I built this game called Change and Challenges, where I challenge the teams and the leadership to do one of the four roles. When it comes to change or innovation, you're doing one of the four roles all the time. If you're a good leader, of course. Either you're a doer who looks at the quickest and easiest way of solving their problem, or you're a healer who goes into the deep understanding of the problem. This healer doesn't try to solve it, tries to understand it from the people perspective, from the customer perspective, from the client perspective. Energizer is someone who puts that energy, let's do it together, who'll plan team events, who'll keep the positive environment in the group, and a big thinker who's keeping an eye outside, in the outside world, what trends are coming, what can disrupt our business, how can we be, we can make sense even in 10 years from now. We are relevant in 10 years from now. So those were the four roles, and I forced people to, force is not the right word, like play a different role. But that natural thing what people have, that no, like this is what I should do. If I'm just listening to people's problem and not giving their advice, I'm wasting their time. This is one of the common things I get. But then you don't get the deep understanding of what people are going through. So this is our human side, where I try to show that there's more than one way to make a company ready for change. There's more than one way to make an organization change fast, because I think that is also a thing. People need to adapt and change fast in today's time. So yeah, that's what I do. And again, I really don't like when things are forced, pressured, and communicated with unclarity. Definitely those three things I really want to take it away from the corporate world if I can.
Sounds super cool. I think this is what is written on this mug. Doer, energizer,
so wherever
healer,
I do this game,
thinker.
I ask them that, ask yourself every morning what role you're doing today. If your job today, I want to be a doer, okay, there is a problem, I need to solve it. That means you're going to put all your energy in just solving that. If you want to be a healer, that my job today is I'm going to understand why the team is frustrated, why they're opposing change. I'm going to sit with each and every one and understand, not give solution, not judge them, not punish them for speaking up, give them that safe space. Today I'm a healer. When you go back home, you don't think I wasted days in just Bilas. How many managers you know who comes home and says, today was just only meetings, talking to people, they were complaining, I wasted the day. You're not wasting, you're actually playing a crucial role of a healer. If you're organizing a team event, show energy, show up before everyone. Think, how can we make it more engaging, entertaining, and not think, oh, but this is something an intern can do. This is not my job. But you know why you're doing it. So this is the idea, is that be deliberate about what role you're playing, and don't second guess your decision that day.
Wow. My next question is not really connected.
Okay.
But actually, everything is connected. Well, you did become, in August 2025, World Champion of Public Speaking. I have to a little bit maybe share with the audience who are not aware. It's a Toastmasters award. So in the world of Toastmasters, it's an international organization. We have international speech contest, which starts at the level of club, then you go to another level of area, then level of division, then district. Then you have to win the district, go into quarterfinals, semifinals, and only then you go to the World Championship finals. And Saby won that. So the finals of the international speech contest, and became World Champion of Public Speaking. I will not ask you about all the journey because we don't have time, but I want to ask you how this title has changed you, and what did it teach you?
It has, I don't think I have changed as a person. I'm still the same person who makes the silliest joke when he meets his friends, you know that. And I think I want to keep it that way. I like it that way, because what people forget is it's not the speaker who won, it's the speech that won. anybody else who would have given that same speech maybe could have done a better job and would have won, or not. If I had done a different speech, I would have probably not won. It's the speech that won, but we give too much importance to the speaker instead of going into the journey of preparing the speech, how the thought process, how did you plan the laughters. We don't dissect the speech enough, we celebrate the speaker. And I think that's something I think we don't do it right. I said this in my acceptance speech. I used a line from spirituality, from Bhagavad Gita, that says, Nimitta matra bhava Sabyasachi, that Sabyasachi is nothing more than a small molecule. A speaker is nothing more than a vessel. It's the speech that won. Celebrate the speech, and speech is not a one-person job. I was just the vessel delivering it. There's so many people who have helped, guided, transformed it. And yes, I'm very proud to be that vessel. I'm very happy that it was me. But
I knew it was your dream.
It was definitely. I think every Toastmasters has harbored this dream. It is everybody's dream. But what I want to say is, anybody with a good speech can win. It's the speech, it's not the speaker. When people come to me and said, do you think I have it in me to be a world champion? My answer is, nobody has it in them. It's the speech. If your speech has that merit, you will get there. Work on the speech, not on the speaker. Of course, I mean, you know, with speaker, ego comes. Like, I won. I am the deliverer. I am the person. With speech, you learn humility because you've got feedback. You've learned from people. And that takes you places. I do feel that there is a sense of responsibility since I won. That anything now I say, people take me a bit more seriously than they did 6 months before. So
did it help your business?
Yeah, of course it did. Of course it did. But I'm more cautious with what I say because I've always been, especially when it comes to giving advice, when someone's genuinely asking for advice. But now a little bit more sense of responsibility because I know what magic this one skill of public speaking can do to one's life. If a shy, bullied kid like me can become a world champion, trust me, it can do so much wonders to so many beautiful people out there in the world.
Actually, I often thought reaching a dream, like you have dreamt of something for so long, can be a moment of total joy, upliftment and bliss, but also can leave you empty. Like, what's next? I have reached that big dream. It is here. Like, this part of my life is kind of over. I have achieved it. What's next? What is your next dream?
Can I be honest? This wasn't the dream
Be honest,
at the start of the 2025.
No. Okay.
I remember I had a conversation with a friend. I said, "Yeah, this Toastmasters World Championship is not a dream anymore. It's just I don't feel like, because I've tried for too long. It will not happen. But I'll still try. I'll show up. I'll give a good speech, and then we'll see what happens." This year I did not do with the motivation to win. Even the finals, I was not motivated to win. I really followed detachment. I was motivated to give a good speech. I was motivated to make my audience laugh, give my best, and not care about winning and losing. And it sounds like in hindsight you can say this, but trust me, people who were there with me at that point, they know I was preparing the speech, but I was also doing so many rituals. Like, I was going for my run, meditation. I was eating the same food. I was extremely disciplined. I was preparing the speech exactly at the time I will be on stage, so my body is in rhythm. I was doing all of that, and yet I was detached. I was still laughing, joking. In fact, when we were done with the speech, we were all lined up. It was actually in the morning when we were doing the stage rehearsal. Before the speech, we were all nervous. I said, guys, let's put our hands on everybody's shoulder and let's do the conga, it's called, and walk. It'll get the audience laughing. We did that and everybody was laughing. So I was like, my peers at the World Championship remember me as the person who was making everybody laugh, joking, laughing. Of course, I was taking it seriously, but detachment helps, and it was not a dream. Dream was to give a good speech, and that I achieved irrespective of the title.
What's the next dream?
Too soon for a dreamer, to be honest. You know, I made this mistake after my book launch. After a book launch, I made immediately a dream within 6 months. I want to create this change management company. You think success is a linear line. This is what I said last time. Like you're on the peak of a mountain, and you want to go to the second peak, and then you see that it's not working, and then you get frustrated and question yourself. It is, you have to first go down, you have to humble yourself further, then you have to be curious, a student, so you can climb the second mountain. Yes, now I'm doing a lot of work on public speaking, trainings, coachings, giving talks, but it's also something I'm learning new, how to be a better coach, how to help others. And I don't do it with the ego, I'm a world champion. I do it with the empathy that I know what is to be coached by a good coach. So I'm bringing that for you. But yeah, so making a dream immediately after one dream is a recipe for disaster. So maybe in 1 year I'll have a dream. Right now, I'm also enjoying this period. I mean, how often do you get to be in this position that I'm in? So I'm also extremely grateful to the universe for giving me. So let me also have this moment and enjoy.
Absolutely. Be in the moment, pause, enjoy.
Yeah.
You deserve it. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Actually, we are reaching my last question.
Tell me.
But before that, I wanted just to really comment on what you said. It really touched me. I heard your speech at the club level, and now you mentioned it again. And it's a very, very healthy thought. I want everyone just to remember that every success is a new mountain.
Yes.
And if you are on the top of a mountain, you have already reached a certain level of success or a certain milestone, let's put it that way. In order to reach next one, you have to go down and start climbing another mountain. So it's never jumping.
There's no ropeway that takes you from A and B.
Yeah, it's such a nice metaphor. I really love it.
Thank you.
It puts it, success, victories, and all these milestones in a different perspective.
Yeah.
Every time you will have to climb down and start from down to go 100%. Up again.
Not only down, you have to first go down before you can climb up. So now you have to go down where you have to, fight some old demons before you can start going up again.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely humbling thought.
I've learned it from someone. It's nothing about me is very original. Authenticity is not originality. It's about knowing what sticks with you. So I've also learned this from a friend recently.
Cool. So my last question would be, if I asked you to describe what are the most important ingredients of feeling that you belong, what would be your recipe?
Friendship. I don't know the right word, but like an SOS, by which I mean that you have an emergency, you have a crisis, and there are still people who will show up to help you. I mean, if you just have friends on sunny days and when you're in a problem, they're like, sorry, too busy, not getting in there. That doesn't make you feel belonged. I'm very lucky to have those people who will be like, hey, crisis, will be there. So that, that SOS kind of thing. And to be honest, acceptance and surrender, because there is no place on God's green earth that's perfect. If you stay here and dream about your home city, you miss the food, you miss the weather. Yes, of course you're not going to get that. But when you are there, you won't get the life that you get in the Netherlands. You won't get the vibe that you get in the Netherlands. So sometimes just accept what you get here instead of just complaining about what you don't get. So friendship, the SOS call, and surrender and acceptance.
Love it. Very nice recipe. I want to end with a small, short blitz.
Let's do
just
it.
3 questions. I want you to give immediate answers.
Okay.
What comes first? So first question is, name one thing that you miss the most from your home country.
Street food.
Street food. One Dutch habit you have adapted.
Directness.
And one word that would describe your journey the best?
One word only?
One word only.
Phoenix.
Oh, nice. Phoenix. Okay. Before we close,
Yeah.
we have promised. So we have a very nice coffee mug or tea mug, whatever, from Saby's company, Method in Madness, with his logo.
Yes.
And we want to gift it to someone who will leave a comment. Tell us, Saby,
Well, I think we
who
spoke
will
about
win?
a lot of Dutch habits and culture shock. We spoke about it. So who writes the best culture shock that they faced in the Netherlands, like that had the most aha moment with Dutch culture and what they saw. The funniest, because I love funny, the funniest will be gifted this mug. So write your most funny Dutch culture shock you faced in the Netherlands.
That's it for this episode,
Thank you.
for Belong Conversation. Thank you so much, Saby, for honest, true, authentic conversation. I felt very comfortable. I hope you did as well.
Absolutely.
And stay tuned for the next episode.
Thank you.